that when I started the high school, the buses, we had 2 buses, and they were painted red, white, and blue.
Oh.
And I tell people that, and they can't believe it. All I went to school right up here in Argyle High School, the old part, you know. Yeah.
Where did you go to grade school then?
Cherry Branch, down below the East Iota Church. That's where I went to grade school, all 8 grades. Even went to parochial school down there.
That was during the summer then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was during the summer.
Who were your teachers?
Arleigh Johnson was our teacher for 7.5 years, I guess it was, and then we had Arlene Gunderson come in, and she taught to finish out the term, and then we got a new teacher for my 8th grade. That was Nina Davis, poorest teacher we ever had. I shouldn't say it, but oh, she was terrible.
Arleigh must have been a good teacher.
He was, yeah, he was. Well, he taught grade school, and then when for parochial school, he taught that too, so.
Then you went from teaching to banking, right?
Yep, that's right, yeah. Yeah,
So at Cherry Branch then, did you have to walk to school?
oh yeah, I walked to school. In wintertime, you'd wear boots, you know. That was 1936 when I started grade school, and that's when we had all the snow. Oh, we had a pile of snow. Then the next year, we had all the ice. Oh man, we went to school with ice scrapers on. And I remember I was going to school, walking to school, and I tripped on the cornstalk in the field. And at that time, they'd cut the corn by hand or foot and cut and shocked it. And them stubbles are about that long and just as sharp as they could be. And I slipped on one of them. I had a new bib overall on, and that stubble went right up there, and my dinner pail went sailing down across the hill, and I had to walk clear down with ice scrapers and get my dinner pail.
Now, you talk about ice scrapers,
Creepers.
ice creepers.
Yeah, you wore them on your feet.
Okay, so were they kind of like cleats or something?
Oh yeah, there'd be a cleat, and
Okay.
I know my folks would make them. They'd take sickle sections, 3-pointed sickle sections, and put them in the fire, and heat them up, and then bend the corners down, and then they used leather harness straps, and that's the way you got around. And that was during the Depression too, so.
And the school was heated by
Coal
okay.
and wood, the Cherry Branch School. Yes, Squeaky Olson, Jalmer Olson from Argyle there, they'd haul the coal down to the school, put it down into the cellar, and us kids, we were the ones that fired the furnace. Oh yeah.
So how many were in your class?
In my class,
Just your
there
class?
was Everett Montgomery, Donald Pfister, and I was the 3 in the class.
Okay.
And the reason we went to Argyle is because they had agriculture up here. They didn't have it in South Wayne at that time. So us kids, us 3 boys, we went to up here because he had agriculture, and Roy Simpson was our teacher.
So you could choose which school you went to?
Well,
Or did you have to petition out of the South?
no, there was none. We just went because we wanted to go
Oh.
to where they had agriculture.
Okay.
So. And then we tested our own milk, you know. And C.F. Thompson, he was the principal up here, and of course he run the school like a military academy. And we got the key to get into the school so we could go down in the ag room and test our milk, you know, and here comes CF, we call him Prof, here he come down and, how did you guys get in here? Oh, he just raised particular heck with us guys, you know, that we was down there. And of course we had them pipettes and we used acid, you know, to test your butter fat, you know. Oh yeah, he just thought he owned that school.
Did you test your milk on a routine basis?
Yeah, every month.
Every month,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, then my dad said we don't have to put up with that stuff, so then we went to Darlington and what do you call it, up at DHIA they called it at that time. Dairy Herd Improvement or something like that, and that's what then we started testing up there. Then they'd bring the samples right down to our place. There was a tray about the size of this little cabinet here. Oh yeah, that growing up here in Arleigh, that was something. And of course, you know, old CF, he had his dress code. The boys wore a dress shirt and a dress pants to school.
Oh, really?
And the girls, they had no slacks, they had to wear a dress. Oh yeah, and then, I remember Irma Golax and Irma Bueller lived out here. Just as poor as, that family was very poor, and she had a new dress. Started the school, and by spring it was so washed out that all faded out. But I sure remember her. She was a year ahead of me in school.
How large was your graduating class?
I think we graduated a class of, I think there were 32 of us that graduated. Yeah. I graduated in class of 49. I got sick, I got rheumatic fever, and I had to take a year over. So I graduated in class of 49, and we got the old annuals yet, you know, and that shows us in that graduating class. Yeah, and one of we had 3 that shortly after we graduated, we lost 3 members. Charlene Johnson was one of them. She got killed in a car accident right up north of town here on 78. And Ernie Robertson, he was the other one. He was driving a truck for Glenn Anderson, a semi, and going down below the Owego School. He the load shifted and over he went with that semi and caught on fire, and he burned in that cab. Yeah, I'll never forget that. You see the pieces of flesh on the burned out cab on the springs. Yeah, that was a bad deal. Oh, let's see, what else can I tell you?
Can we back up a little bit? When you were milking, how did you cool the milk?
Oh, we had,
milk tanks?
We had cans, used
Okay.
cans, and we set it in cold water, and then we'd stir it, until we get the body heat out of it. So,
And then did you take it to the cheese factory?
cheese factory, yeah.
Twice a day? Or just
We
once?
started, I remember going that night too,
Uh-huh.
and, but then we went down to once a day.
And was it the Foley Cheese Factory?
No, we went to the Miller Cheese Factory.
And where was that?
Uh,
just-
on Miller Lane, just east of the Five Corners.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, and then we let her close up in usually the 1st of November. Then I'd haul over to the Foley factory.
Okay.
I'd haul there in the wintertime because we had too much milk. We couldn't separate, we'd separate the milk and get the cream out of it. And we'd bring that up here to Argyle and Langman's, it used to be Langman's, and sell the cream in there. Yeah.
What other animals did you keep on the farm?
Hogs, we had
Hogs.
pigs,
Mm-hmm.
We raised quite a few pigs. But that, we had, the horses and the cows and the pigs and.
So in the wintertime, the one cheese factory would close up because
Yeah,
they didn't
the
have
Miller
enough-
factory would close up.
because there
and
wasn't enough milk
Yeah,
produced
yeah,
in the
so then-
wintertime.
The people would separate, they'd separate, what little milk they had, Well, most of them dried up their cows, on the 1st of November. And they wouldn't freshen or have calves till probably in March or April.
And because a lot of people don't know what it means to dry up a cow,
Yeah, well,
you can kind of explain what that
that's,
is.
to dry up a cow, you just kept milking them until there wasn't much there anymore, and then you just dried them off and maybe strip a little bit, but then you just, when their udder would just kind of shrivel right up and dry up, and then when they start springing, then they'd let her down.
So explain springing.
Springing, then they'd, the bag would fill up, and then they'd drop their calves, and you started milking again.
So when the milk cows were all dried, you weren't getting any income.
Well, let's see. Well, when they start freshening, and you'd get the calf in, you might sell the calf to
Oh,
market.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the same way with the hogs, you'd sell a pig once in a while.
Going back to your Weigel school and your parochial school, of course, you and I have been involved with some of the goings on at East Wyoda Church.
Oh, yeah.
That was your church too,
Yep,
correct?
yeah, that's,
Tell about the experience of the installation of the charter stone.
oh, yeah, well, I'd have to get that little black book and tell all of that, Well, your dad was,
Well, if you just want to explain what was going on and how they had you come up to the,
oh, yeah, we was in, Pastor Gunnarsson was our pastor at that time, and we had parochial school at the Cherry Branch School, and he drove over to school and wanted all us kids to come up and take part in that, bearing that capsule under the big stone. So we all went up there, and I remember having my picture taken. I was standing in the back there, my bibs on, barefooted.